Hi, Year 10. I'm just going to help you with your elaboration revision technique for drama. I'll be focusing in on question 3 of section B of the written paper, which can seem more tricky to structure. So what is question 3 focused on? It's focused on how you will perform as a named character and how you would interact with another actor through the use of performance space in order to create tension, or sometimes it's phrased as to how you would show your relationship between the characters. It's worth 12 marks, and we recommend you should spend about 18 minutes answering it. If you are entitled to 25% extra time, then you'll need to factor that in when practicing at home. The kind of things you need to refer to, therefore, in this type of question is eye contact, spatial relationships, that's how you use space in order to move towards or away from one another, facial expressions, vocal reactions, and movement. So you may recognise this that we've used in lesson time, which is something we've put together to try and help you approach this question, which on the surface seems quite complicated. And so what on this is how you would begin the answer, which is sometimes quite difficult to do, where you actually focus in on the context of the extract, and particularly the shaded sections. If you remember on the extract from the script, there's a part which is sort of shaded out in grey, and that's what you're focusing on question 3. If you answer from anywhere else in the extract, unfortunately, no matter how good it might be, you don't get the marks for it. So it's really important to focus in on what's just been said and what's happening at that moment, so you can really put the moment into context. It'll make it a lot easier to explain how the character you're playing and the actor playing another character, how you're going to interact and why. So in the structure here, we have the character, which will be the name character that you're playing. Then you have to pinpoint the moment to a line or a stage direction, and then you might be referring to how you're going to use performance space and or how you would interact vocally or physically, and then your objective and motivation is saying, therefore, what would that communicate to an audience? And then lastly, in your paragraph, you'd come back to if the keyword was about tension, how that creates tension, or if it was about the relationship, say, between the characters, you would come back to that. And that's how the paragraph's structured. And then you'd go to your next example. And remember with this that you focus on your character as well as the actor playing the other characters. You can give their examples too. Here are some example sentence starters that have previously been shared with you. These are very much focused on how it would create tension, but just where it says, like for here, this would create tension for the audience, you could say, this shows this about the relationship between the characters. So you can use those kind of phrases instead. But what it's helping you do is show how to say, on the line, I would, on the actor playing the other character, would, and be really specific in your examples. It will really help you to try and internalize some of these phrases and give them your best go in the exam. So here's an example question. So the extract is the moment that Proctor and Abigail are left alone in Act 1 in Paris's house, and you are performing the role of Proctor. Focus on the shaded part of the extract. That's in the next slide. Explain how you and the actor playing Abigail might use the performance space and interact with each other to show the audience the relationship between the characters. So this is one of those examples of something that's about relationships rather than tension, although there might be tension there, and there certainly is between them at this moment. So the shaded section is this, and I'm sorry that it's come out so fuzzy. It's because I scanned it and then copied and pasted it, and it hasn't come out too well, but I'm sure you'll be able to find this moment in your own scripts. The first line here being Proctor saying, the road past my house is a pilgrimage to Salem this morning, the town's mumbling witchcraft, up to Abigail saying, give me a word, John, a soft word. So it's just a few lines. It's not a very big shaded section, but your examples have got to be focused in on this. So obviously in the exam, what you do, get out your highlighter and make sure you're highlighting your examples that you're going to choose to write about quite good idea to have a couple of colours so that you can do it for both question 3 and question 4 in different colours. So what I'm going to show you next is an actual student example answer. Now this is actually taken, I've typed it up, but it's taken from an actual exam answer by a student from our school, from an actual paper. And so it'd be a really good idea for you to pause the video now so that you could have a good read through and you could see where some of those sentence starters are used, certainly where the extract's put into context at the beginning, and then where the student comes back to the idea of the relationship at the end, the last sentence. And that structure of that paragraph was repeated. So if you pause it now, you can have a read. And then lastly, we've got the PLC, the checklist, to check that you've included all these. So when you're practicing, you can see that you're doing these, and you'll be able to see that the student in the answer before was doing these things. Maybe not all of them in that one paragraph, but they were throughout all of their answer. And they actually got 12 out of 12 in the actual exam using that structure. So what would be really good for you to do now is to choose some extracts from the play and actually practice that yourself. You could choose to go back to Act 1. We've been working on Act 4 in lessons, but you could choose, let's say, moments between Elizabeth and Proctor in Act 2. And that's actually a really good way to prepare for Year 10 mock exams, but also the final ones in Year 11, is by really knowing the play well, choosing sections, and then practicing this technique. I hope you found that helpful, and any questions, just ask us for any more help. Thank you.